Right now, though, we turn to an exclusive story, a company from Williamsville being sued for discrimination for a second time. Our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post report that this new lawsuit was filed last week, claiming the Clover Group refused to build senior housing complexes in or near black communities in North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. A former employee says executives, quote, intentionally engaged in illegal race-based housing discrimination and violated federal law. Now, these allegations are in addition to another lawsuit that we told you about back in May. In that case, a different former staffer here in Buffalo claimed that executives would use the code word Canadians when discussing the number of black people living near a proposed building site and would say, too many Canadians for us to go there. Joining me live right now with more is Geoff Kelly. He is the reporter with Investigative Post who's been following this story for quite a while now. So Clover Group obviously operates here locally, but in those other states as well. So what should we know about what the allegations are here from this employee with what happened elsewhere?
Well, the allegations by this employee, who's based in North Carolina, are very similar to the allegations made by the local employee, which is essentially that the company, among its criteria when it's looking for when it's doing site selection, used racial demographics and anything more than 20% black in the surrounding community, and they said no thanks.
Yeah, the story that we covered back in May that you obtained had even audio recordings of them basically saying this. There are a lot of people named in that lawsuit and then also in this new one. Does that tell us that this is a widespread problem within Clover Group, or is the accusation here that, or at least maybe the defense here would be that it's a few bad apples?
Well, so the Clover Group, despite its immense holdings, is really a relatively small company in terms of personnel. And the individuals named in both lawsuits are all top-level executives. So, I don't know if it's a matter of a few bad apples or, the good apples all get fired.
Well, because it sounded like in those recordings that you obtained, I mean, it was sort of like an open secret, right? I mean, they all knew this was sort of the culture, it sounded like.
It's true. And to be fair, there are some executives in those recordings who sounded uncomfortable with the company's policy, but they did nonetheless pursue and enforce it.
So what response, if any, have you gotten from the Clover Group to this second lawsuit?
To the second lawsuit, none at all. But to the previous lawsuit, a couple of terse statements basically saying that the plaintiff was a disgruntled employee and that the allegations were without merit.
So one of the other storylines ever since this first discrimination lawsuit was filed was, what does it mean for the man in charge of this company, Michael Joseph, who is a big-time Democratic donor in Western New York, on the boards of, used to be the chair of the board of Roswell Park, resigned from that position, but is still, as far as we know, on the board of AKG, and is a prominent individual.
Yeah, has served previously on numerous boards of charitable organizations and other sort of community groups. He is a civically engaged man. As you mentioned, he resigned from Roswell Park under pressure. He, as far as we know, remains on the Albright Knox board. We'll see if that changes. In terms of the company's business, last year they were fined millions of dollars as a result of a federal lawsuit by housing agencies in 6 states alleging that the company discriminated against tenants who were disabled. Maybe something like that is in the future too.
So now we have these two different lawsuits. Presumably they would just run parallel and we'll kind of have discovery and go through the whole thing?
They are, and the lawsuit filed Friday relies on those audio recordings that we reported last month for the previous lawsuit. So they are very much hand in hand. The allegations are nearly identical.
Investigativepost.org. I know you have links not just to the new lawsuit, so if people want to read it for themselves, but also the old lawsuit and a lot more reporting.
And to those damning audio tapes.
Yeah. Geoff Kelly, reporter with our nonprofit partners at Investigative Post. Geoff, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.